Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hocus, Hocus, the greatest magician the world has ever known. Such amazing feats. A captive audience. But it wasn't always so, was it? We had a deal, Mr. Hocus. Don't forget who made you. Hocus, Hocus.
So I'm like, what comic books are you reading?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been reading a lot of comic books from the indie scene, Kelly, and one of my favorite comic books of the past year is this thing called POCUS, HOCUS. And the elevator pitch on POCUS, HOCUS is Kit Marlowe never wrote Faust, and O. Henry did. Take it from there, and that's pretty much what you've got. It's a deal with the devil with all its ironic little twists and turns. And you know what? I'm not going to tell it nearly as well as the creators of this character. Please welcome Alan and Will to the show. Guys, how are you today?
Hey, we are fantastic and so happy to be here for, is this the third time now?
Well, this is issue number 3. I want to say it's the third time. But
Yeah, but we weren't on, we came on twice, I think, for issue 2.
we came on twice for 2, and then we got the whole Bad Bug team on.
Yeah.
one time.
Oh, yes, and this will be the 4th for me and then the 3rd for Will.
Exactly. And speaking of the team, we got Scott Wilkie and Mike Teener also with us here tonight. So
Mike,
this is a full house.
Hey,
Yeah.
I thought I had a minute. Hey,
We have people actually in the chat waiting on us. Nefarious is the first one here. Thank you, Nefarious. Always appreciate you being here, man. I do mean that too. And Robert Roberts wants to know how to get that Sasquatch coffee mug. Well, you're going to have to reach out to Cosmic Comics, and we can Cosmic Comics Belleville on Facebook. You can find them and get yourself that. Since you are up in the Yukon doing your work, I can imagine why you want to have a Sasquatch coffee mug. Guys, I am super excited about this book because this is one of the things that I hate about crowdfunded books. Because as a kid reading comics, when they started getting into multi-part epics, because as a kid, Superman was done in one, and then the next one was a totally different one. Once they got into multi-part epics, 30 days was forever. And I was, like 10 years old. 30 days was a measurable percentage of my lifespan at the time.
yeah.
And now we got 3 of those, it seems like. 3 30-day
Yes.
periods that you got to wait.
It's even longer, and I've gotten more impatient in my old age. So, but just the anticipation makes it all the sweeter. So who wants to tell us who POCUS is and what got us to this point so far?
Will, take it away.
So POCUS is a magician, and the way he became a magician, he has no actual magic trick, gifts or skills or instincts. The way he became a magician was that he made a deal with a demon to get actual magic powers so that he could kind of, skip a couple steps and impress his domineering father. and things did not work out quite the way he expected. He, shortly thereafter became disenchanted with fame, and now he is at a point where he wants to get his soul back, and he wants to end his teaming up with the forces of darkness. So that's the general gist of who POCUS is and where he's at.
He's not going to get it back, is he? Not anytime soon.
Wait and see.
What a disappointment, right? If you go
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Well, let me put it this way: like Alan and I, 100% are not getting our souls back that we sold to make this comic book a success. So
Yeah.
That's where you found the template for the damn
would be
contract.
like, hey, what's the value of a soul, right? Like he goes through all of this things, like, you know what? I don't really need that thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't doing anything with it anyway, right?
Spoiler alert,
Like-
that's what happens at the end of issue 3. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Well, Alan and I haven't learned our lesson. Like we still don't see. I mean, I don't want my soul back, Alan. I don't know about you, but
No, it's going to be I like the challenge. I'm trying to get it back.
Kickstarter campaigns are like way more exciting.
Yeah, well, you're waiting on that divine intervention anyway.
Yeah.
My favorite little contract with a devil story, I forget what comic book it came out of, or maybe it was even a pulp, was the devil approached an actual lawyer for the soul swapping contract, and the lawyer thought he could outmaneuver things by writing the contract and putting in all the clauses, and the devil's like, well, yeah, we can alter it however you want, but these things have to be in blood, and it's your contract, so yours. And the lawyer's just like poking his arm and poking a vein and writing more and poking a vein and writing more, and it gets all the way to the end where he's like, my soul is deliverable to the devil upon my death, at which point he's exsanguinated himself completely and dies on the contract.
That's a great.
But this damned contract was one sheet of paper, which by the way you can get still on this Kickstarter.
Yeah, we have an unlimited amount of soul contracts we're ready to give out, and I guess before we get too into it, Scott is the one behind the magic wands that we're making for the campaign.
Oh,
I am.
Yep.
There's magic wands this time.
Yes, after Scott's great success with the Periwinkle Slayer axe, he's trying his hand at magic wands now. Yeah, Scott's just he's just our smithy.
Pretty sure
That
Kickstarter
wonder-
doesn't allow you to give weapons away as a reward anyway. We're just kind of slipping that one through.
It's a prop.
It's a prop, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Kickstarter's got a habit of allowing you to put up the things that you're not supposed to put up, and then telling you like a few days before the campaign's over that, hey, we got to cancel you guys. I just saw one today where it's like, hey, for every $1,000 we sell here, or for the money we bring in, a portion is going to go to this particular charity. And apparently that's a big no-no with Kickstarter. You can't promise funds are going to go to a charity.
Well, I guess because funds are guaranteed to be delivered. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Kickstarter
okay,
doesn't want
makes
to take
sense.
the responsibility
Yeah.
for it. So, they just, okay, well, we're still going to do it, but we'll take the wording out of the Kickstarter campaign. People will still know it. It just won't be part of your contract. We'll just say it on the live streams. Unlimited contracts for your soul, like the Vatican. We have actual comedians on the show here tonight, Robert, but feel free to. I appreciate the confidence that you put that one out there with.
That was funny. I'm sorry.
Hey, there she is. Look at that thing.
Look at it.
It's a gorgeous, and I love that trailer. Not that your first trailer wasn't funny, guys, but this one's animated and it's an actual story.
So this is a Mike thing. He reaches out. What's his name? Mike? Jared?
Garrett Matthew Daw for Prevalent Mind Studios.
Yep.
The trailer, it's one of those things where it's like so cool that when I saw it, it was like instant imposter syndrome. It was like, oh no, I didn't help create something.
That's how I feel every day, surrounded by all you guys.
Well, I mean, it's an incredible, it's a really, really cool trailer. And like every time I see it, I pick up like little details that I've noticed before, like the
because we were,
hand.
we loved the trailers before, but the Periwinkle one was the one that really sold me on Jared's ability with everything.
Jared makes us look a lot more impressive than we are.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? You need to find someone that does that for you.
Yeah.
Like RJ's about to do for us. RJ, sell our book.
You know what? I'm going to try. We're 4183. Everybody remember that number because the rule is that, anytime this thing goes up while we are live on the air, we're taking credit for it. It's a simple rule, but it is a rule. The animation, the first time I saw animation like that, I think was when they started doing stop motion comics with Watchmen. Neil Adams had a company that was doing the stop motion.
Yeah, okay.
And this is still a step up. I mean, the Watchmen one was good, but it was really just, a little bit more computer generated Marvel 1966, when Captain America throws his mighty shield. You're all too young for that, aren't you? Wow.
We're just babes in the wood.
I age myself.
Well, you could refresh us if you want.
But Robert, if you like that animation, guess what? You can get that animation if you purchase the right cover, because one of these covers you've added some smartphone technology to. I forget what the company is that's doing it.
Yeah. So again, this is I'm happy Mike's on here now, so we can at least talk to him about it, even though he just disappeared. Left. Yeah, Mike
he did.
Yeah. So the cover that we have is an AR cover, and Mike, you experimented with this first on Midnight Highway, didn't you?
Yeah, the AR covers. Jared also animates those. It was just a random thing where I went to an art gallery nearby where I live, and the artist's work was all like you had to download this app called Artivive. So I download it, and then you look at all of their artwork through this app with the viewfinder on your phone, and all of the artwork like came to life and it all animated and everything. And we were already working on the first Midnight Highway at that time, and so I sent it over to my partner Alex Madej, and I was like, my gosh, we got to do something with this. And since then, partnering with Jared, who's done all of our trailers, it was just a matter of just asking Jared, hey, have you ever animated in this video aspect ratio before? He's like, well, that's easy, I'm just changing numbers. Yeah. And it blew my mind. I was like, my God, let's do this. This will be something that I don't think a lot of other people are doing right now. So let's give it a shot. And so we were experimenting with prints and things of that nature. Now we're doing it like every standard cover of every issue of Bad Bug will be an augmented reality cover. So when you get the cover A version, it will be animated.
What about Periwinkle?
I don't know what we're going to do with yours. I mean, we can do it.
Conveniently
Scott.
leave mine out.
We have plenty of time.
So how do you direct people to the app? I mean, do you put like a QR code on the back of the comic and said, "Hey, scan this and look at the book"? Or
yeah, so that's the next step is trying to figure out if we just drop a card in with it, because we bag and board everything that we ship. So we thought about just having a small information card in there. But more to come on that. Obviously, one of the big things that we're going to probably do with Midnight Highway 3 is that there's going to be a section in the book that's augmented reality. So like as you're going through the pages, the panel work will come to life.
You'll
so that's
start getting those motion comics in the physical comic.
So we're working on that right now. We might not be ready in time for issue 3. We might have to do issue 4, but we're.
Okay, so that means we'll do it. We'll beat you to it first with issue 4 of POCUS, so we could be the pioneers behind it. Perfect.
Hey,
awesome.
It's all under the same canopy, so I don't care who does first. I still get credit.
Well, I got to do a test run of it with the cover for POCUS HOCUS #3 here, and folks in the chat, if you want to see it, this is what I took. I had to use my phone and my computer in order to record it, but I think it's pretty cool. They're you've got POCUS
so
and
cool.
Emily.
Yeah, I love that.
Floating. They jumped down through to hell, and look, the camera pans up and down. Horace is looking down at them. I love that the rabbit is watching this scene as it's evocative, literally, of Alice in Wonderland falling down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. And that was something that Brian wanted to capture, especially with the cover. And once we get into hell, that was one of the things. I believe I sent it to you guys immediately after Brian read the script. And he was talking about how he wanted this to be a Wonderland-esque hellscape. that was kind of turned on its head.
Well, he succeeded so far, and that's just with a cover. So I can't wait to see the interior.
Yeah. So we do show a teaser for what hell is going to look like in our preview pages, and I'm super excited. And I get more and more excited every time I send everyone the pages that we get. It's really coming together on this one, just really seamlessly and really fast too. Brian, he's very motivated right now, to say the least, on getting us our pages and everything.
I find it. I want to talk about where we're at going into 3, but
that's totally fine.
There are people who have not read 1 and 2, and folks, you're going to want to get 1 and 2 if you haven't already, because the further this thing goes out, the harder it's going to be to get those catch-up tiers. I keep saying catch-up tiers, and one of these days somebody's going to take me up on it and actually put their logo on little ketchup packets and call it a ketchup tier.
Every time we've been on a show with RJ, like, he's always come up with really interesting reward ideas.
It's what I do.
I know. So your first one this time was a ketchup packet. So I'm just putting that.
He's the one that named the Slayer. So he's
he did.
He did.
Man,
hire him on the team, Mike.
That's what I was going to say. RJ, if you want to wrap this up and come join us over at Bad Bug, why not?
I'm done. Let me pack. Robert's asking an interesting question. He wants to know why the Faust Guy is blue. Now, of course, this is Faust allegory. This is POCUS. His real name, Hocus Hocus. If you think it's a stupid name, so does the demon.
I think it's. Hell is typically red. We just wanted to, shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then I think that he's looking at it too. It's his magic that's pushing back on him, because POCUS is actually black and white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most of the book is, in fact, black and white. It's the magic that is in color, and the demons and anything supernatural. If you see color, pay attention, because it means there's serious shit going down somewhere.
And that's why I'm so excited whenever we get to look at the preview pages. So RJ and team, I really think it's okay to talk about issues 1 and 2, because the preview pages, unfortunately, they do spoil, a good part of issue 1 and 2 as well.
All right. Well, POCUS has been at this for a while. The ironic thing about his contract, of course, was he did it to impress his magician father, who was, there's no other polite way to put it, he was an asshole to his kid. And the day that POCUS finally becomes, world famous magician, his father dies and doesn't get to see the act. So it was, one of those all for naught, gift of the Magi kind of deals that he made. And he's just kind of been, disenchanted the whole time. But at the end of issue number 2, he's put into a bind where the demon he made the contract with, and that's all we can call him, is the demon, because once we know his name, POCUS knows his name, and when POCUS knows his name, he's pulled the Rumpelstiltskin out from under him, and the curse is broken. But the demon's a gambler, as are all demons, and he's in debt, and he needs souls, and he needs them fast. So he's going to use HOCUS to gather more souls. Here's a stack of contracts, get people to sign them. So Robert, your Amway analogy was very apt in all of that. Along the way, he gets found out. His assistant, Emily, discovers the contract, discovers that the pink bunny, Horace, is more than he appears. And they both now must go to hell they've got to pull something off. They've already sent some souls down there. And they've brought some demons back up to Earth, that's got to be leading to something. You can't just let a bunch of demons walk around free. This is going to be like Victorian Ghostbusters. He's going to have to
Arc 2.
I say that because I just finished watching,
Afterlife. Yeah, I haven't seen Afterlife yet.
I have not watched it yet.
Comes out tomorrow.
It was so good, and I was not expecting it to be as good as it was, right? Like, I was kind of preparing myself for being disappointed, and then it was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was a worthy successor to the franchise.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, Pops Van Zant. Glad to see you. Jason Smith also.
Oh, that's our colorist.
What up, Jason?
Jason, you should have been in here, man.
Jason is actually under
Yeah,
the
tell
weather
him
right now.
to come to jump on the chat.
Yeah. He's chatting with us because Jason is under the weather, unfortunately. But Jason, we're about to highlight how amazing your callers are, especially once we get to those preview pages, which we are so excited for.
Well, let's not waste any time.
Yeah, and then we did have someone actually give a shout out to Brian's artwork in the chat too.
Yes. That was Roy Draws here. Says Brian Blondo's art is just stunning, and it absolutely is.
We couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and you've got some excerpted quotes here from really good websites that review comic books. I'm not bitter.
We got those straight from the horse's mouth, actually. All right, just skip over that. Don't show that. Just keep going.
Oh, I need to take that off there.
Yeah, it's not day one anymore.
Where's my Midnight Highway hat at? Come on here.
Oh no,
Not again.
We have this ongoing joke where Mike always talks about how well Midnight Highway 2 did on day one and blah, blah, blah. Nothing will ever beat it and all this stuff. So we always just try to make it a running gag to see if anyone could actually finally top Midnight Highway number 2 for its day one opening.
He's made it no
What
secret.
What
that
kicked it all
Midnight
off
Highway
was
is
just
his
Periwinkle had such a great first day. So I was going back trying to figure out how everyone did on their first day. And I prematurely told Scott, I was like, I think you're the number 1 Bad Bug title for day one.
And then guess what happened?
And then I came back and said,
Yeah.
oh, no, I was way off. It was Midnight Highway 2.
Yeah. he knew.
He
knew.
knew.
I've been the villain ever since.
Okay, we're enough about you, Mike. I knew you were going to try to derail this to talk about Midnight Highway. Okay, we have stretch goals here, ladies and gentlemen.
Stretch goal. And we're very, very close to getting this 3x3 inch Cupid magnet. But you know what? I don't care. Get 6,500 because my Emily and Horace print that I've got up on the wall in a frame needs a companion piece.
Yep. Yeah, that's where Stephanie really knocked it out of the park with that, and we couldn't stop laughing when she sent us the Cupid Ivan print because we were really trying to play off of the Valentine's Day theme from where this is running through February.
I love how it's Ivan.
What's the joke with Ivan?
Nothing. It's just he's Cupid and he's in love with POCUS, and then there it is.
Oh.
Yeah. And
You're underselling it.
For those not aware, Ivan is POCUS's very neurotic butler who is
How
upset.
could I have forgotten that?
Yep. Is it?
That's his Igor.
Yes.
Robert's asking, is this a Christian hell, or does it include Hades or others, or is it a Dante-esque one? What is your version of hell here?
Actually, it's weird to read it like that because when Will and I sat down to actually make our hellscape and our rules, him explain it's actually kind of a combination of all of it.
It's the DMV.
It's okay, yeah. It's just the DMV.
It's the DMV.
Yeah. We really wanted to do different layers of hell levels, but then also incorporate themes that other people are familiar with, so that we could really play off of that with our writing. So yeah, it's just really just kind of a culmination of everything that we have read and absorbed.
We talked about a lot of different, ways to go with it, and I don't know if I should talk about those different directions. We've talked about it on some other interviews. Yeah. It's like one idea was to make it like a Vegas, almost like a Vegas hellscape where everything is like very neon lit, which could potentially tie into the gambling scenario. But I think we decided that was that had been done before.
Yeah, we didn't want it to feel like we wanted it to feel different, but not in a bad way. And we thought that if we went that route, it would feel too different from the rest of the series.
Well, right. In addition to that, you have like an artist like Brian working on it, and it's kind of like
we want to play to his strengths.
Well, I'm going to see what he, has to say about it, or what ideas he might have. Also to help kind of create it and design it. So I mean, it's we've always taken the opportunity to collaborate like whenever we can. So
yes, definitely, and we want to give Brian as much freedom as possible. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Team member Jay Burns is in the chat as well. So
what's up, Jay?
Hey,
what's up, Jay?
Hey.
So
Love
we'll
Jay.
watch a 2-season series called Reaper.
Mike, anything?
Sounds familiar.
Reaper?
Yeah, it starred Ray Wise as the devil, and it was basically this father had sold his son's soul to the devil, and the devil comes collecting. And what the son's got to do now that he's like a 21-ish or whatever is collect souls that have escaped from hell and bring them back. And the only reason I bring that up is because once you had a soul trapped, where you had to take it was the DMV, because that was very much obviously the gateway to hell.
Wow. Yeah. No, I'm not familiar with the series. That was just like just off the top of my head thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's that makes sense to me. If hell is like the DMV, I could see that.
Yeah, it only went 2 seasons, and then it ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, it's 20 years later, I'm still waiting for the 3rd season.
Hey, that sounds about the pace of our books. So
yours have actually been coming out on a very consistent schedule. I'd say about every 3 months we're getting at least a new POCUS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making us look bad.
Yeah, Will and we are trying to really hammer this thing out because we have a story that we want to tell, and we are so happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have a new versus competition, at the end of the year, who had the most issues put out, not who. Yeah. You guys handle that. This is our first look at issue 3. I don't know if this is page 1 or not, but you can see that everything is black and white except for anything that's magical. The magical stuff gets colored. And of course, this is where Alan had to tell me that y'all had lied to me on our previous
Yes,
podcast.
we did lie to you. We couldn't reveal it just yet. RJ asked us, Mike, you'll appreciate it. We went well with the NDA. RJ asked us, does Horace talk? And we looked him dead in the eyes and said, no. Like a bunch of liars.
Lying liars.
And so Horace is going, he's got the little squeak, and POCUS just says, drop the axe. She knows. He's like, oh, you told her? and I was just like her. I'm like, of course the rabbit talks.
Yeah, we wanted to really play off that too. And we wanted Emily to kind of have the audience's reaction. Like we knew it, but we were trying really hard to keep it a secret. Will, you kind of explained Horace pretty well in a previous interview, just with kind of how he came to being and just audience anticipation with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those things where, it's one of my favorite things about, writing or anything creative in general is making discoveries. And Horace was definitely a discovery because, we have this bunny rabbit in the first issue. And I remember we were getting the pages back and we were like, wow, that's a really striking potential character. So we started talking about like, well, what's the story with this rabbit? And then it just, it was
here
like,
we are. Yeah,
we're doing it. Yeah. And I mean, it also opens up a doorway to have just almost like a mascot for the series. And I think he's great for that, even more so than POCUS and Emily, just because it's a very recognizable image that people seem to.
And I'm happy Jason went with the color that he did too, because it's just I know Pink Bunny probably could be seen stereotypical, but it just pops so much on the page compared to everything else.
The color translates into the word balloon as well, which I think is a really nice touch.
And one thing Dave did with that, there's actually a little bit of glow on his word balloon too. It'll come out better in the resolution for the actual TIFF files and everything because Kickstarter condenses everything down.
Yeah, now that I'm looking for it, I do see that fringe of a glow there. Is Horace a puka?
What's a puka? Do I know what a puka is? Mike, what's a puka?
I don't know. Look it up real quick though.
I'm going to have to say he's not. Then if you guys
Scott, what's a puka?
Isn't puka like a mischievous mythological spirit that's kind of cute and furry?
It is kind of. If you ever saw Jimmy Stewart in Harvey, when he was P. Edward Dow, dude, glad to meet you.
Okay.
He talked to a 6 foot tall invisible rabbit.
Yeah.
I guess Scott was a bad person to ask. If it's not Germanic lore, he probably doesn't know.
It is.
I just thought it was related to a popular necklace in the 2000s, but
puka shells or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Celtic folklore, considered to be bringers both of good and bad fortune. They could help or hinder rural and marine communities. So they're like gremlins.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
Scott is now thinking of 7 comic books.
And they were shape
Yeah.
changers too. Alan and Will, take note of that. They're shape changers, so they can be rabbits, horses, goats, cats, and dogs.
RJ,
Maybe
I
horse
think you
is
just
kinda
made
cool.
him into a puka, so good job.
Okay, sweet. RJ, okay, cool. He's a puka now.
I think
You're hired.
Send my 1099 to
So this we love these next 2 pages coming up because we kind of get the exposition out there, and then we really get to just see some personality for Horace, especially in the page after this, with his relationship with Emily versus POCUS.
Yeah, because when I read these preview pages, it's the first time I've seen somebody like POCUS. Not similar to POCUS, but I mean emotionally attach. I like you, POCUS. Unlike Ivan, who's like, I'm freaky in love with you.
Yeah.
And again with the colors, I've said that colors only happen when magic is happening. The seats in the auditorium are not magical, but they are reflecting what's obviously being opened behind this door. So suddenly the seats become this bright, brilliant, theatrical red.
Yeah.
You can almost, they're crushed velvet just by looking at the color.
Yeah, especially the lighting that Jason put on there with everything too. It just everything hit on that page. We feel like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it's through the door, and and Horace is giving them their instructions and says Godspeed. He's worried about POCUS. I like that.
He's more so worried about Emily.
More so about Emily.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we really thought it was funny because he's giving this heartfelt speech to Emily, saying, "I don't know what I would do without you. Just please be safe." And then he looks at POCUS and he's like, "POCUS, Godspeed," and he just takes off.
Good luck. Now, the Horus name is, of course, Egyptian, sort of evocative. Is there a reason for what went into the naming of the rabbit?
No, I think it just kind of fit.
Yeah, something that was touched upon. A couple days ago too is that we were talking about different influences, and I know Alan, you've always had an interest in like theology and that kind of thing, different religions, cultures, and I when you named him Horus, because when you first said Horus, like when we were talking about Horus for the first time, in my head I was thinking Horus is in like HORACE, and then it even took me a minute to get the pun, and it's like, oh no, that's perfect. So it's not super significant, but at the same time it's just kind of like a neat little pun or play on the name.
Yeah, and Robert, I didn't even see your chat when I.
Okay. Well, there you go. Did you see that?
I was looking to the side. So yeah, he could be having hints thrown at us that he's going to be even more powerful than just talking, but they won't tell us.
So one thing I do want to point out here that Jason did, which I didn't realize it at first, but after we got everything lettered, then I realized it. He actually, when POCUS and Emily are inside the box, the borders for the panels are in red to symbolize that they're inside of it.
They are. That is.
Yeah, sneaky. He's sneaky.
Down to the last detail.
Yeah.
Like it.
And then here we go.
And chapter 3, POCUS and Emily go to hell. That's a movie title. Now, I'm going to have to scroll another page here, but at this point, POCUS is still black and white, and Emily has gone full color, not like magical glow color.
Right.
And he stays kind of that way, doesn't he? So there's I see this as like color hints. It's sort of like Dudley Do-Right finding a clue that you can't decipher, going, this means something.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're not going to tell me, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then here we go. This is our first glimpse, and this was I think Scott, we kind of talked about this before. This was our wow page, right, for the series, because this is the first time we really have just that big burst of color. We've had color pages before in issue 2 when the demon fight breaks out, but this was our big just here it is.
This is horrifically beautiful.
Yeah.
You've got those lava falls. and just patches of flame everywhere, floating rocks. Yeah, this is not a place you want to be. So
it's like Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. So how big is this book? Is this, your standard 22 pages? Because you guys are, you're putting out floppies.
Yeah. So this one is, I believe this one's 28 pages.
Yeah. It's a little. I remember it was a little longer. I can't remember.
Yeah, each issue's gotten longer so far, and I guess a hint right now, or just a little teaser. Issue 4 right now. Will, we're probably expecting that one to be in the 30s, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Probably close to 30, between 30 and 32 pages. Yeah.
Are you getting anywhere close to an arc break where you can say, okay, now we're funding this issue, and if you want to know what happened before, it's all trade paperback?
Yeah, we're actually thinking about doing that with issue 4, and that was something that Mike and I, we were talking about with POCUS and Black Jackets. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of already bouncing ideas off of each other with what to do with our floppies.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things you guys do that very few crowdfunders are picking up on is you cross promote within the company. So you can you get directives to other Bad Bug Media titles, so that if you get Pocus Hocus 3 and you get Bearskin, then you will also get the ash can for Ragnarok.
Mike, I want you to take this segment over. You need to look me dead in the eye.
Dude, I'm going to.
Go for it. So this was Mike's idea, and Ragnarok is awesome.
Yeah, so Bearskin, I'll start with. That's also a campaign that's running right now by Jason Pell.
He's killing it, by the way.
He's a comic book veteran, really. He's been making comics for, I think, 10 or 11 years now. But he's also from West Virginia, which is where Alan, Will, and myself are from. Scott's, for whatever reason, from Arizona. Or no, you're from Michigan, aren't you? Wisconsin?
That's where I was born. I was born in Wisconsin, yeah.
Okay, it's one of those states up there. But anyway, this was a title. It was like one of the first times we picked up a title for Bad Bug that was outside the normal circle. And it's doing incredibly well. So one thing we wanted to do, because we knew both the campaigns were running almost at a simultaneous release, we pushed POCUS back a few weeks just to give us some more time to ramp up excitement, let a little bit of excitement fall off for Bearskin. But merging those two Kickstarters together to give out Ragnarok ash cans as a bonus to people that back both. So Ragnarok's just about it's about an Asgardian rock band that got kicked out of Asgard because their music sucks. And so they got banished to the only realm that would appreciate their shitty music, which was Midgard, Earth. And so and to the surprise of no one, they're famous on Earth. They're a huge hit. And so some years have passed. They've kind of grown stale or just, I guess, jaded with their fame.
Like
and
POCUS.
They are given a mission from Frigga, I guess is how you say Odin's wife's name's Frigga. To
always sounded dirty.
What's that?
It always sounded dirty.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was going to say. Like every time I get up to it, I'm like, some people say it's Freya, but I think those are two different characters. But regardless, she shows up, lets them know that, hey, there is this thing going on throughout all the realms right now that's depressing everybody. Everyone's laughter is stopped. The world tree is dying. All the realms are suffering. It's this great darkness that's sweeping over the lands, and we call it the Great Bummer. And so we need you, Ragnarok, because you've saved the life force of Midgard with your music. You've united this world. We want you to take a tour through all the other realms and resuscitate them with your music. So they go on this 9-realm tour. And so the whole thing about the series is for you to just see all these different realms and what music is like in all those realms. So like, and I'm not spoiling anything, but like issue 2, they go to one of the realms, and everybody there like listens to indie folk music, and they absolutely hate it. So, their number one objective there is to obliterate all indie folk music. From
So I'm guessing Wild Stallions wasn't available.
Yeah. It's definitely got the Bill and Ted vibe. It's Wayne's World, Bill and Ted, really all the 90s stoner rock movies and stuff like Airheads. I think about all of those things. I also think about Spinal Tap. I think about cartoons like Metalocalypse. And Tenacious D humor. Really all of those things. Really Celebration of Rock is really
now I've got to read this. Okay, we've had the POCUS show. POCUS show's over. We're now
Our comic sucks now, Mike. God.
Sorry.
It's not that your comic doesn't suck. It is, and I'm going to say this, out loud, the quiet part out loud. The Bad Bug Media books are all just that good. What's my favorite Bad Bug book? The one I'm reading right now.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
So folks, get these books. They're very good books. Now, one of the things that I do, Mike, is I'm a fulfillment agency. I do a lot of fulfilling of crowdfunding stuff. In fact, I've just got bricks in today for Red Eyes #2, so I'll be breaking these apart and distributing them soon. But the reason I bring that up is that I know how to read the CSV files from Kickstarter and Indiegogo. I've got I'm also a 35-year database developer, so I've got my databases written to process those things. How does Kickstarter work with you on having two campaigns interrelate, or do you have to map up manually that yes, this person was here and here, therefore they get this new tier?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like you just get an Excel file from both the campaigns and you cross reference. If the names are the same, then those people qualified for the promotion.
Yeah. So you're just doing a VLOOKUP.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people that have done it so far, I've already done a look through to see how many people taking advantage of this promotion. There's quite a few. It was more than I thought we would see at this point in time. But we do know that they backed both campaigns around the same time as soon as POCUS launched. So I think POCUS is what allowed people to segue over to Bearskin and back Bearskin as well, just so that they can get that extra preview book. So, but managing the Excel files from Kickstarter are fairly simple. As long as you know a way to group things and sort things, you'll be fine. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
I take it out of Excel, I suck it into SQL Server, and then I do stuff to where everybody's packages are grouped together. So I'm like, okay, everybody who ordered all the same things here, you're Group A, you're Group B, you're Group C, and then I don't have to look at the first line, the second line when I pack. I'm just like, make 27 A's.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I might hit you up for some processes because we're still figuring out ours. I'm right above our distribution center right now. It's in our basement. Love to give you a tour. That place is.
I'd be happy to consult. I've I consulted with Florida Man and Thin Blue Line, so I'm not even distributing them. I just told them how to do their data.
Nice.
Digital copies of Horus. I've already given him his
Horus POCUS. Yeah.
He's going to get a one-shot soon, right, though?
There you go.
Digital copies of POCUS HOCUS. $5. Good Lord. That's a great deal. And the physical one with cover A, the animated cover, is only $10, but you're getting the $5 PDF for as well. So you might as well just say you're getting a $5 comic and a $5 PDF.
Yeah.
This
is what I'm excited to get into now, are the variant covers. Mike actually put us in contact with we'll talk about Mark's first. Mark did a cover for us for issue 2, and Mark is just such a good guy, so easy to work with, and he has a movie theater poster quality to his work. So we really wanted to play on that, and we gave it kind of like the Conjuring type lettering. And we even have lettering at the bottom of it that says, Bad Bug Media Productions, Dunford Radford Productions. We just really have a lot of fun with it. Dave did a great job.
It looks like a movie poster.
Yeah.
And I like the I don't know what this is in the back here. It looks to me like Gossamer from the old Warner Brother cartoons.
Yeah, I think Mark was just trying to have fun, just with what could come out of that box, and we just loved it.
And then this one here is a totally different feel to it.
I love this one.
Mike introduced us to Edward, and it was I didn't know what to expect going in, and I was not disappointed.
This one's got
what, Mike?
My friend Troy's a fine artist. He'd be able to tell me exactly what I'm thinking of. But this has got a quality to it that looks like every item on there was actually cut out of a single color of construction paper and then glued on it.
Yeah.
It's his use of shading that he does such a great job with that. If you really look closely, I don't think anything on that cover is actually black.
No, that was one thing he told me he wanted to avoid, was putting black anywhere.
He did a good job of conveying depth, shades to issue shadows in certain positioning so that you really do feel like you're falling down the hole with them. My favorite thing is just the way Pocus Hocus is put together. It's like a bunch of fabrics have been tied together.
Like the endless scarf magic trick. Yeah. And it's all coming.
That was cool. That was really cool.
It's amazing. I love it.
He'll definitely be back for issue 4 if he has time in his schedule. 100%.
He's falling down that hole. This particular one, I know we talked the Alice reference and the rabbit hole here. This one puts me in mind of another magician series that was out. And if y'all didn't see Reaper, you're really not going to go. You're not going to know Lidsville. But it was a Sid and Marty Krofft production.
All of these, I wanted to.
Yeah, well, this was a Sid and Marty Krofft production. It starred Butch Patrick post the Munsters in his teenage years, and he wanted to know how the magician did his tricks. So he snuck backstage afterwards and picked up the magician's hat, which grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, and he climbed over the edge and fell into Lidsville, which was a world of Sid and Marty Krofft talking and walking hats, who were much like Pup and Stuff. Yeah, much like Pup and Stuff had to fight off Witchy Poo. They were always fighting off Hoodoo, which was Charles Nelson Riley, who was wanting to get the magic wand. It was horrible, and it was terrifying, and I watched every one of them when I was a kid.
Sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah, very well. It was a Sid and Marty Krofft production, so there you go. Horace gets his own cover.
Yeah, so Kit's favorite character is Horace, and we have Kit back for the third time, so we just let Kit do his thing, and the results are fantastic every time.
Yep, killing it as always.
Yep.
And of course, this is why I asked if he was a puka, because now he's a giant rabbit against a tiny
little Pocus.
Have you? I mentioned this on one of our previous calls. I think it was just the phone call. Where can you say Hocus Pocus anymore? Or does
it sounds weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hocus Pocus. Yeah. No, I've trained my brain now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that too because I get corrected now.
Mike doesn't
take well. My ego doesn't like to be corrected, so.
Have you seen the remake of that movie they did on the Disney Channel, Pocus Hocus? No, you mean Hocus? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is you just walk around with a bag of books, and then when they correct you, you're like, no, here, see, and then you give them an ash can and you walk away.
There you go.
So the big thing, because Mike was instrumental in developing all of our Kickstarters, so a huge portion of their success obviously has to go to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he was really clever too. We do a digital catch up here, and as well as a physical catch up. But we've been seeing a lot of success with the 2-pack for people to get the main cover and then get to pick whatever variant they want for a discounted rate.
Yeah, because when you have a handful of decent covers that everybody's going to want one of each, you don't want to have to pick just one.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you're on a budget, because I think the variant covers are all $12 a piece. Yeah. Standard's $10. So when you think about it, you're saving a couple bucks by really getting them grouped up together.
Yeah, and you still get the AR experience of having the main cover, and then you get to pick the variant that you want.
Yep. And here's the tier for all the newcomers on the show. This is the one you really want to start with. $25. You get all the digital, all the physical, 1 through 3. You are completely caught up. Now, with comics being a print-on-demand thing now, are these still from the first print run, or do you go back to press? And when you do you say second printing, third printing?
Yeah, so we always try to order in bulk and order smart. From where Mike and I live 5 minutes from each other, we'll talk to each other and see what can we order, what do you need to get, and then we'll just do one large order. So we already have POCUS inventory for 1 and 2 still.
Okay, so these are still all first printing, if I say that.
Yeah, from the new dressings, yeah.
Because, we're collectors. That means something to us. So, Pops, you want floppies. You always say that. This is, this is where to get the floppies before they become trades. Kickstarter. I like that.
That was Alan's idea.
Yay, puns. And I was also, actually, with my lowbrow humor, I was also instrumental to the success of Periwinkle for making their dollar amount. Wasn't I, Scott?
Yeah. Exactly.
So 1 through 3, but the Kit Wallace variant. So if you're a fan of Kit, this is a start here. Get these $30 for all 3 books. Get your I get noticed, by the way, folks. This is fashion that will draw eyeballs. I wear my Horace.
Oh, Scott's got his on too.
Yeah.
And
you walk around Walmart as a 54-year-old man with a pink bunny rabbit on your shirt. People are going to stop you. And they're going to ask you why you got a pink bunny rabbit on your shirt. And then you get to tell them about comic book, which impresses all the hell out of them because they're old ladies at Walmart in Arkansas.
It's about demons.
Yeah. Just start with that.
Oh, a comic book, said Grandma.
What's it about? Guy who sells his soul to the devil and goes to hell. But you have other shirts here too. You get to do the you can go with the logo for Pocus Hocus. You can go with the logo for Bad Bug, which all of you should have a Bad Bug shirt and be wearing it at conventions when you start to go soon-ish.
Mike actually got us. He got us fancy little polos.
Yeah, they're in a box over here. I'm just trying to figure out who I want to send one to first.
What, just to make everybody jealous?
In order of favorites.
I wear an extra large.
I'm gonna get mine last.
You definitely.
No, Dave would get his last, but we'll talk about.
Dave doesn't have one.
Yeah, I used to get my team the polo shirts with the embroidered logo back when I had a team. Things happened. COVID happened. Everybody found new jobs. I'm like, I'm going to keep going. Now, I said before you get all the covers for, the $30, the $25, but this one literally says all the covers.
Yeah, so this is all covers for issue 3. We just want to go put that just together for people who couldn't decide. So for $15 more from the 2-pack, you get everything. And then PDF. Yeah.
Like Mike said, the variant covers are $12 a piece. That's $36 for the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saving $1 and you're getting the regular cover for free.
Right.
Correct.
So definitely a deal there. You can get all 3 books with here we start mixing and matching. We're going to get all 3 books with the t-shirt. Retailer tier. That's one I wanted to hit on. Because even with the fulfillment I do, when we have overrun, I have a catalog that I send out to retailers. I'm like, hey, look, here's books that you can't get anymore because they were Kickstarter. Yours aren't like that though, because you kickstart them to get them going, and then Previews magazine.
Mike.
So Previews is something that we're looking into for 2023.
Okay, so what's your distribution plan right now, though? I mean, is it just
we are direct to retailers, so we get it printed, ships to me, then I send it out to retailers. So we're very grassroots right now.
Okay, you do have a website.
Yes, we have the website Bad Bug Media. It's still under construction, but it's accessible. People can go in and make purchases. In fact, I have not been advertising the site at all. Alan, I told Alan that our first order, I don't know how they got in, but they got into the website and they bought Pocus Hocus. So I call Alan. I'm like, are you giving everybody the URL? Because it's not done yet. And then after that, just yesterday, somebody bought all of our books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just shipped it out, man. So
one of everything, or like literally all your books?
One of everything. One of everything. So it was like, I don't know, 10 books, 11 books, something like that. Had to ship it all out.
Well, as long as Will and I were first, that's all that matters.
You were first, and I owe you $6 because the guy bought Pocus 1, so Pocus 2's not on the store yet. I need to update all that.
Yeah, because that's it's old news now.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the tricky part is when you're choosing to use crowdfunding as a pre-order store, it makes it's kind of like, well, do I direct them to the website or do I want to direct them to the Kickstarter, right? So we got the site up and running just for people to be able to purchase the books outside of season, which means outside the Kickstarter season for that respective IP. So we're trying to balance those two things right now. We're trying to get to a point where maybe crowdfunding isn't necessary, but it still is very necessary. Yeah. And we don't want to cut off any kind of revenue stream. So we don't promote the website while we have Kickstarters going on. I
gotcha. Well, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people that I talk to that do crowdfunding, they'll go to Kickstarter and then they'll carry over to Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because at the end of an Indiegogo, you've got In Demand, which is basically just your store for just that book, or for whatever tiers you had on your book. And then you don't have to maintain a website.
Right.
Yeah, we did that for Dead and Moon, which is one of our properties, and another book called Vanya. And they both did well over there. We tested it just to see. It's amazing, really. I imagine that we will build up a base on both sides, and it's just extra revenue for us, money that we can reinvest. It's I know people say we're purely Kickstarter or we're purely Indiegogo. I'm like, you're leaving money on the table if you just
definitely
don't
go to both.
It's like going to one con instead of two.
Yeah. We only go to San Diego, not New York. Well, all the hot stuff that happens in San Diego.
That's what I hear.
I miss comic conventions that were about comics, but that was me, because I used to go to Chicago Con when I got out of college, and not only were there people there who loved comic books, but the actual publishers were there. You could go to the DC booth, to the Marvel booth. Now I go to like Wizard World in St. Louis, which bought the Comic Con I went to in Chicago. You got your table, you're sitting there selling your stuff, but you're just next to a bunch of artists selling prints. There are no publishers there. There's nobody talking comics. I miss those cons. You mentioned Dead in the Moon, which is, of course, part of the Bad Bug collection on this tier, the $80 one. We can get. Looks like is that everything? At least the regular cover of everything.
It's everything but Periwinkle and
Bearskin.
Bearskin and Ragnarok, obviously.
Yeah.
The one I do want to highlight on here is Wrath, and that was also collared by Jason as well. Mike, are you going to be running a Wrath campaign, or are you just selling it?
We're just selling that one and offering it as add-ons right now.
Yeah.
So the idea was to we were running the campaign for Periwinkle, and I had Wrath already completed, and I was waiting to see where the window would be to run a campaign for it, and I just decided it would probably work better as a supplement to Periwinkle, so we could really put the focus on Scott's book, because Periwinkle is an amazing thing, and once everyone sees it and reads it, they'll realize that it's really one of the best things we've put out. And so I just wanted to use another property of mine to drive people to the Kickstarter for Periwinkle, and I think it helped. I think we had 75 combinations of people backing Wrath and Periwinkle together. So not bad. You know, it's for a title that we didn't put a whole lot of marketing dollars behind or advertising dollars behind. It's going to get into quite a few people's hands. So we're going to continue to use at least one title as kind of like a, in addition to this release, you're getting a secondary release with it.
Okay. Yeah, because with the crowdfunding, I know this on Indiegogo, I'm not sure about Kickstarter. You can't have more than one going at one time.
Right.
So so if you're kickstarting all your books and you've got 3 titles, you can't release a book every 3 months because if you do, you're limiting yourself to just 3 titles.
Right. That's we actually planned out the whole year because we have it's a nice problem to have, but we've got so many titles that we need to make sure that they're spacing out and not conflicting with each other. So the good thing is that because we can utilize Indiegogo, we can always be running 2 campaigns simultaneously, different properties, and so it's cyclical, I guess, because of that. Yeah, it's as the library grows, it's just we're gonna be shoulder to shoulder, right? We're gonna get crammed when it comes to the crowdfunding.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to start up like a crowdfunding team within the company, so that not every crowdfunder is quote unquote owned by or created by Bad Bug Media, but you can be like, Bob Smith of Bad Bug Media and Tom Jones of Bad Bug Media. They're all running parallel campaigns for the same company, but individual.
Fortunately for this, the POCUS campaigns have been under Alan and Will, and I'd like to point out something about that for a second. And then Jason Pell's Bearskin, like that one is also under Jason right now. So I'm not currently under Bad Bug. There's nothing running right now. So that's how we're able to run those 2 simultaneously. But the great thing about this is considering Alan and Will are kind of new to this. I wouldn't say new anymore. I mean, they've completed 3 issues. That's a hell of a lot more than a lot of other people done. But they've been able to really foster really good relationships with their backers to where every issue is just exponentially grown in support at a very quick rate. And this is on their own shoulders. I mean, with the help of people like you, RJ, obviously, but it was earned. Every bit of their success was earned. It wasn't just given to them.
Why can't you say this nice stuff to us, like behind the scenes?
Well, I do it in a public setting so people think, "Wow, what a nice guy," and then when we get you're pieces of shit.
And I'll take it a step further. It's not just that they've funded now 3 books, but they've actually delivered on these books.
Yeah.
A lot of people I'm waiting on some books that have funded, have printed, have taunted me with the pictures of the stacks of books in Gemini mailers, and it's still a year later. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Come on. The Prestige, named after the movie I hated.
I hated it. Guys, something just happened. I have to go. All right, I'll catch y'all later.
It was a cheat. It was a cheat.
We did a whole show talking about
how much we love that movie.
Talking about it, but my whole mission in life is to defend the ending of that movie, which is like a whole other can of worms. But that's heartbreaking. That's very heartbreaking, RJ.
And I say this as somebody who, 1, loves stage magic, and 2, loves Nikola Tesla. So I was like, ooh, they're going to bring them together. Wait, what?
Well, you have to admit, though, I mean, maybe we can all agree on this. David Bowie
was awesome.
Did a great Nikola Tesla. I thought he was awesome in that role.
Yeah. And The Prestige and the first Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr., they're sort of like opposites to me. It's like, I loved The Prestige up until the ending, and then I hated the whole film. And with the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, I hated the whole film till the end, and then I loved it.
Yeah. It's weird how that can.
Well, regardless, we have a tier called the Prestige. And you did everything. So this was we wanted to really develop a Kickstarter that was kind of plug and play. So whenever we get to the add-ons, you can kind of build your own campaign, choose your own adventure, right? But this just gives everything all together, discounted rate. Just if you were feeling crazy and just wanted everything, here it is.
Yeah, and I was going to ask about these, but I think if I scroll down to the add-ons, I'll see
Yes.
bigger pictures.
Yes,
So
you'll see
I'm going to
everything
do
here.
that.
All right, Scott, do you want to talk
Magic
about these?
Yeah, I need to get you guys a better picture. That was
That was our
my
prototype.
first. Yeah, that was my first attempt at making a wand on a lathe. So just to see if I could do it. But I think the cool thing with that one is every single wand I've made is unique. So there's not the same design. So it's going to be kind of a crapshoot as to what you'll get, and they'll be wood burned with your name on it, I believe.
Yeah,
I won't be doing that. I don't have a good penmanship, so we'll let someone. I don't know. Is Alice going to do that?
Oh man, she probably has her wood burner ready now, right, Mike?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, she's ready to burn stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah,
Absolutely ready.
it's been fun making them. I feel like Ollivander. So. Yeah.
Scotty Vander.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a very cool thing. $35 for your own 12 inches in length. Probably good.
It's impressive,
4 inches
right?
in air of girth.
This is going to slowly devolve, isn't it?
Only time I can ever claim 12 inches.
Moving on.
He was waiting for that.
The soul contracts. This is the damned contract again. Although it doesn't say that at the top, does it?
No, not on this one. So this is our custom soul contract. So those who get this or back a tier that has it, Will and I will reach out to you to, even if you don't want to use it for yourself, we're going to ask the name that you want to put on the contract, and then some hobbies, interests, likes for yourself or for the person who you want the soul contract to go to, and then we write it out. We print it off on aged parchment paper, and we burn it to give it a hellacious look.
Oh, sweet. That's just extra mile stuff right there. That's very cool. The T-shirts, of course, we've seen those. Dice bags. I saw those up there. I'm like, okay, why are we into the dice bags? What's going on here? Other than just carry your dice.
Why not? That was actually an idea that Sadie had. She was the one that made the Horus Amigurumis for the first one. And we asked her again, like, hey, well, what do you want to do again? And she was like, please, I don't want to make any more Amigurumis. They take me a week each. And I was like, I get it. Those things were made really well. She knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
So then she wanted to go ahead and get some fabric together and make some dice bags. And, I love them. They don't have to be used for dice. You can put all sorts of things in there.
You can put anything in it. Here's what I'm thinking. And you could have another item without having to make another item. Because these dice bags have Horus patches on them.
Yeah.
And you could sell the Horus patches just as patches. Because I've got a jean jacket that I'm filling up with crowdfunded patches.
Well, you're in luck, because if we keep scrolling. So we have, before we get to it, we have the black and white edition. Will, did you want to go ahead and take this one?
Black and white, yeah. So one of the things that we've talked about for a while is how impressed we are with. I mean, obviously, it always comes up in interviews how impressed we are with Brian's artwork. And I've said for a while that there is almost like a silent movie feel, quality to it, in the sense that you can you can look at it and follow what's going on, and the images sort of stand on their own as works of art without our dialogue or writing. And so the idea behind that was to have a black and white edition that would have none of our work, and just sort of highlight his illustrations. So it's really cool. I mean, it really kind of I think that this might appeal to people who sort of just like standalone images, or maybe even like a surrealist touch, where you can kind of just let it read it, and then take away what you will from the artistry and the imagery. Yeah. But it's really cool. I mean, it's amazing, and it makes you kind of see. I don't know if I would say the story in a different way, but it certainly makes you see the artwork and really highlights just how talented and awesome Brian is.
Yeah, and not just in his line work, but in his sequentials, because any good comic, before the lettering goes on, if you get a virgin comic, you should be able to follow the story and see what's going on without any dialogue, and Brian's able to pull that off.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, we sent you a black and white for 2. I'm not sure if you had a chance to go through it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we were so happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's really cool.
I don't know what this
Oh,
means.
Alice.
Jesus.
Mike, do you want to claim that?
Mike's just silent.
Yeah, not acknowledging. It's easier.
We have masks. We have masks.
There we go. Yeah, mask. Okay, cool. Yeah, we
have a
actually had
focus-
these for campaign 1, and we decided to go and bring them back for campaign 3.
And so you get the POCUS mask, and you got the demon's mask.
Mhm.
Very nice, very nice. And the iron-on patch. Mine gets sewn on, but that's okay. Of the POCUS HOCUS logo.
Mhm.
And this is, this 2.5 by 3 inches. Very cool. It's not it's not
impressive.
a forest patch, but
It's not 12 inches, but
not
What
12
can you
inches.
do, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much it in the campaign. We're super happy with everything, and like I said, the support has just been incredible. We're, as of right now, just looking at metrics, we're pacing ahead for what we did for issue 2 at this point in time. But we all know how Kickstarter goes. We are approaching the dead zone now for Kickstarter. So obviously, any support that anyone can give would just be absolutely incredible. Just any likes, shares, anything really, just get the word out.
Yeah, and folks, if you want to click on this, and why wouldn't you? The link is right below the video. I also pinned it to the top of the chat because people said they wanted to see it there. None of you have used it in the last hour.
Well, it didn't go down, so that's huge.
It didn't go down. I have,
Yeah.
I have got people refund before.
You're too
So
kind.
yeah, thank you for leaving it where it was.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen it go up. I love playing, our shake and bake moment, but we'll have it again. Guys, I can't do any more to convince you to buy this book. You will, you're just going to miss out if you don't get it. And the price is right. Bad Bug Media is it.
It's awesome.
It is awesome, and I don't know why more people don't know about it yet. So
something I
We're
will
horrible
say
at marketing
too,
ourselves.
What is it?
yeah, I mean it's worse marketing than bad idea.
something I
What were you
will
gonna say,
say is just the amount of books like Brian's done, and because we see this on the chat. Alan will send us the images and how fast he's pumping those out and how excited he is for this book. I think that's telling too, because Brian's worked on a ton of books, so he's extremely pumped for this. He's living for it, so that alone should let you know. Like when an artist, if you can get an artist to be excited about your work as a writer, I mean that's just next level. So, and Brian's
I'm waiting for
in
the
love with
Netflix
this
series.
book.
Yeah, I think it's got. I mean, for a fact that relationship really brings a lot of energy to the project. Like, for example, you and Arturo on Periwinkle. I mean, he is just so committed to the story. He puts in so much detail just because it's not in your script at all. He just craves that detail. And we've seen his work on other books. He doesn't do that on other books. So, kind of mirroring that, Brian definitely takes some creative liberties. I think that Alan and Will probably trust very much so.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what a great relationship, right? Because if you can get to a point where you both are looking at the same thing, like when you both open the book and you both are acknowledging the same things and going for a singular vision that you both share, that's pretty important. And so I think that's what they've captured with POCUS now.
One more thing too that I want to brag about these two, Alan and Will, is I'm a dialogue whore. I enjoy dialogue a lot.
So does Will. Yeah.
And the banter and the back and forth is very reminiscent of Coen Brothers. And I think of,
yeah, that's probably the best compliment you could have given Will.
yeah, I think
Literally best compliment. I I think anyone can receive. So thank you. Or well,
Dude, no, yeah, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is like my top favorite movie. So like that level, they achieved that, and it's got like a It's Always Sunny almost type of pacing to it too, with the title card coming in at like just the appropriate time.
Yeah.
Just like that mic drop, that like bum bum. Yeah. So that alone, comic books, I think a lot of writers, they like lean into the action, like they think that's what's going to carry it, and that's, to me, like being a Tarantino fan too, dialogue I think carries it far further than any action scene can, and Ellen and Will have just nailed it. So that alone,
thank
you guys should read it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Another good thing about it too is it's a brisk pace. It's a quick read. Sometimes I get comics that there's so many word bubbles you can't really appreciate the art, and it feels like a labor. It's a laborious activity to read it. And so I think another really great thing is they know how to let the pages breathe and not overindulge in dialogue that's not necessary. So I think that's something that a lot of people, when they go to make comics, they don't take into consideration that yes, the dialogue matters to help drive the characters along and fill in the gaps in the storytelling, but the art can do a lot of that for you.
If you want to write a novel, write a novel.
Exactly.
This doubles down on what I was going to say about Brian's work on the series, because you mentioned that he's doing more detail here than he does on his other things, and that doesn't mean he loves his other things any less. But my example was when John Romita Jr. was doing Action Comics. I was picking this up and I was looking. I was like, this is not the same guy that I loved on Spider-Man. This thing did he have a stroke? Is he ready to retire? And I was like, well, he's really lost his game. And then I saw stuff that he did on Catwoman a little bit later. I'm like, whoa, he's back. This is really good. And that's when it clicked with me. He hasn't lost it. He's bored. There was dialogue-heavy stories that were being done in action. I was like, yeah, he knows that you're not going to see the art anyway, and it's a boring story. He's just drawing people standing around. He's phoning it in. When you engage the artist with the story, they get excited. They'll turn in their best work.
Yeah, it's true.
100%. Yeah. I mean, Arturo, with like going back to Periwinkle, I don't want to take up too much time with mine, but
well, don't worry, we're about to talk about Midnight Highway for the next hour.
I'm excited.
But no, Arturo, I've turned over a good deal because I'm a little, as a writer, possessive over it, and I've turned that kind of over to him. I'm like, do what you feel is right, and that kind of shared, balanced relationship is crucial. And he calls it our story, which is just awesome. Like that he feels like a good level of ownership to it, and of course it is. It's half his, in my opinion. But yeah,
it's the same thing too. We said to Brian, like without Brian, we don't have POCUS.
Yeah,
and we know that for a fact. I mean, obviously, it's a huge team effort because Jason's colors has brought so much life to this, and Dave's lettering, especially just the work he did on Ivan and Horace alone, just gives those characters so much more depth. It's crazy, but really, it's the foundation, right, that really keeps everything together. So, Scott, we get that.
Yeah.
So, what kind of future do you see for POCUS here? Because obviously, he's got an out, and I don't know if when he gets his out, he loses everything he bargained for, or if the story's over, or if it's a Gilligan's Island forever, seeking the ship to come by with the out. What are you guys thinking for long term?
Well, it gets a little complicated.
Yeah, he changes his status to "it's complicated."
Yeah,
that's all we can say for right now. We have a lot of plans, and I think that's one thing that Will and I are very thankful for one another for. We have planned this out very far in advance, so we know where we're going.
At what point do you start looking at other media interpretations for POCUS, or any of the Bad Bug books for that matter?
That's a good question.
Notorious for just writing checks.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Let's write a script.
Yeah.
Or a screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Cool.
I'll watch it. I'm ready to see it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, if there's anything else that you want to say about this other than berate me for not getting you one single backer? Thank you, everybody in the chat.
No, I mean, like always, Will and I were completely humble by the support of everybody, and we didn't know what to expect getting into this medium, and we have just been blown away. It feels like every issue, and just thank you. And we got nominated for, RJ, was it 2 or 3 awards?
It was all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And this is the, what am I talking about here?
The best of 2021.
The best of 2021. I don't have a link. I'll put one into the description below. But we are, still voting for the best of 2021 for the next 4 hours. So go to Critical.
Oh, it didn't say. Okay. Yeah, we got, I think, put on there for best comic, best illustrations, and best writing.
Writing team.
Yep.
So,
wow, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I know who's where because I can see the votes come in, but I can't tell you. And
yeah,
tomorrow
your PayPal transfer, I think, will be in here in a little bit.
And, what's funny is we did this a couple years ago, and a book swept it. It took all 3, which it really shouldn't surprise anybody. If the book is great, then you usually think the writer and the artist are going to be great too. And it was the starring Sonia Devereaux team. And just like your writing team, their art team is Brian and Brendan Frame, 2 twin brothers who work together. And they were listed on the poll as, Brian and Brendan Frame first, starring Sonia Devereaux. And they took the top ones. And then I had to tell them during the chat we had when they were getting, their award, because we have I'm not going to try to reach around, real medals that go out to the winners on these things. And I had to tell them, said, yeah, you did take, you were the most top one, but because we have a write-in option, somebody wrote in Brian Frame. So technically, Brian got 1 more vote than his brother did.
Oh, wow.
No. Never lived that down.
Yeah,
no, that was fun. They're a fun group of guys. Very funny book. Totally different publisher, so I shouldn't bring it up during your show. But we all love comics, right? So
yes.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on and sharing more POCUS with us. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. And I just get excited.
Thank you for having all of us.
Yeah, thank you. Really.
Anytime you guys, if you get, if something's got to get the word out on something, tell Anthony to tell me, and 3 days later I'll get back to you. But we'll definitely have you back as often as frequently as I can make it happen.
Awesome.
Folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We don't have a show without you. So we appreciate you being here. And as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.